Hello, this is Pastor Boyd uh, from Virginia. Just wanted to give you a word of encouragement. This past weekend, it was snowing a whole lot, and on my Facebook, uh, I gave an encouraging word concerning how what God is thinking toward us, and how we can actually have what we expect. And so I said to myself, why not share this with the world through YouTube? And so I want to give you guys a a encouraging word and give you some principles of how to reach an expected end. According to Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11, God speaks to us and he's talking to Israel, but he's speaking also principles of heaven. And he says, "For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end." I want you to know that God is thinking good things about us, and that the word peace here, uh, man, it's a powerful word. I might teach on that at a different time, but that word peace, man, talks about God giving you blessing, favor, increase, good times, happiness in every facet of your life. That's what it talks about, just being happy and having success in every area of your life. And he says, but this is to give you an expected end. And I ask the question again, what are you expecting from God? Because whatever you expect is what you're going to receive. Have you ever noticed that sometimes when you have something happen, you say, you know, I thought that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen. In other words, you believed, whether it was good or bad, something on the inside of you expected that result, because that's the essence of faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. If you cannot expect it, then there's no substance to it. But whatever you expect, whether it is what you're afraid of or what you're believing God for, it's going to manifest based on your expectations. It's the material that God uses or the enemy uses to build the thing you want to come to pass. Well, today I'm going to give you 5 principles. If you can give me 5 minutes to give you 5 principles, it's going to be real powerful. Principle number 1: how do I reach an expected end? There must be a promise from God. In the book of Psalms 105, verses 40 through 42, it's a picture or an expression of what was taking place with the children of Israel concerning their exodus. And in verse 40, it says this: the people asked, and he brought quails and satisfied them with the bread of heaven. Talking about when they came out of Israel with Moses and they were asking for food and they received what they were expecting. And then in verse 42 says, and he opened the rock and the waters gushed out. They ran in the dry places like a river. For he remembered his holy promise and his holy promise and his servant Abraham. God had made a promise to Abraham that he was going to have a child, he was going to be a great nation, and then they were going to go through some trouble of captivity, but he promised he was going to bring them out. And the reason why they got the results was because of the promise of God that brought them to an expected end. We have no right to expect what God hadn't promised. So, one of the keys to reaching an expected end is we must know what God has promised so we have a right to expect it. I was talking to some couples some time ago, and I was expressing to them about their expectations in marriage. And a lot of times we quote vows and we say things and when we get married, but we don't remember what we even said. We never wrote down what we was expecting in this relationship. And so then we quit because we get frustrated and wonder why we are not receiving what we expected. Perhaps we never communicated our expectations. Well, God communicates his expectations throughout the scriptures. And when you know the scriptures, you know what you can expect from God. He tells you what he's going to do, and he also tells you what he expects you to do. And when you have both expectations being met from heaven and from earth by humanity, you will see an expected end come to pass. Well, we must have promises from God to match our expectations. So, what has God promised you? He's promised you some blessings. He's promised you favor. He's promised you healing. He's promised you deliverance. He's promised you wisdom. He promised you his spirit. He promised that he'll give you knowledge and of what to do in situations. He's promised you that if you give, it shall be given unto you. He's promised you that you ask anything according to his will, it shall be done. He said, if you abide in me and my words abide in you, you can ask what you will and it shall be done. We must know the promises so that we can have the expected end of what the promises are. Number two, God also gave Abraham a picture of the expected end. In Genesis chapter 15, verse 5, God instructed Abraham concerning the promise of him having a child. He look up to the stars. Look up, and if you can number the stars, then that's what your seed is going to look like. In other words, he needed a picture to support his expectation coming to pass. I want you to know that in order for us to receive an expected end, there must be images where we see what we expect. So I command you and commission you. If you've been believing God for certain things, get a picture of what you're believing God for. Post it in different places in your home, at the refrigerator, on your mirror in the bathroom, your mirror in your bedroom. Put it in your wallet. So when you open up your wallet, you see the picture of what you're expecting. If it's a healing, if it's a car, if it's a house, why don't you go to the car lot and test drive? Take a picture of yourself in the vehicle that you believe in God for, and watch your faith begin to increase because you begin to see this as a reality, not just as some pipe dream. And as you begin to get that picture, you can release your faith in the expectation of that picture coming to pass. The next point, because I don't have a lot of time, is in the book of John, chapter 9. There was a man that was born blind, and the expected end for him was to receive his sight. And the Lord spit on the ground and made clay out of the dirt of the ground and his spit. And some of you may say that's nasty, but it's holy spit. It's if it's coming from Jesus and it's going to get some results, spit on me. However, let me keep going because I'll preach it. I don't want to do that. He made the clay out of the spittle, put it on his eyes, and he gave him instructions to go wash in the pool of Siloam. And the pool of Siloam is a place that he had to actually go and use, watch this, his ability to go after it and follow the instructions. So I want to say to you that in order for us to reach an expected end, we need specific instructions from God that's actually going to be a manifestation of the step-by-step process to reach that expected end. So then you must have a relationship with God, conversations with God that will cause your expected end. Number 4, confidence in the instructions. One of the things that I know for myself that has caused me problems in the years is when I've had a good idea, but it wasn't a God idea. And then I had problems with confidence in the instructions from God because I didn't know whether or not that was God's thing or my thing. Well, I want you to know, you got to know enough of who God is and know the voice of God so that when God gives you instructions, you know it's him and you can release your confidence. Confidence is one of the attributes of faith. It causes you to have an assurance that when you follow these instructions, it's going to come to pass. No matter how long it takes, it's going to come to pass. When you lose your confidence, you lose the ability for God to bless you the way he wants to. And then last but not least, you must have self-control to follow through with the instructions step by step. You can't allow your circumstances to control you. You can't allow problems to come up and cause you to become emotional and make emotional decisions. And when you make emotional decisions, you can make permanent decisions in temporary circumstances. Well, I love you guys. I pray that these 5 principles have been a blessing to you. Don't make, watch this, your expected end a pipe dream by allowing poor principles to be operating in your life. Take what I just said, step by step, keep your faith, and watch God bless you. Thank you so much, and may heaven smile upon you.